Omitofo, and welcome to your first installment in the House of Kung Fu Hall of Qigong. Alright, to introduce myself, my name is Master Lee, and I have been practicing medical Qigong for about 10 years, and I am in the Yang Jwing-Ming family lineage as far as Qigong, and not business or association wise, but as a family. His first student that he certified as a Qigong master and therapist is my teacher, right? Lisa Osei. And I hope to be one of her best students as well. Alright? So, very quickly, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So, I heard you had some back issues and things of that nature. So, there are a couple of things I'd like to clarify before we begin. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's a mind, body, and soul treatment, okay? Unlike a lot of Western therapies, which is nothing wrong with it, but they only train and give therapy to the physical. And then you have to go to another professional for your mental, another one for your spiritual, internal as far as organs, all of that jazz, okay? In traditional Chinese medicine, each movement takes care of all three of those things, okay? So that's why when I first entered school with Sifu Lisa, okay, I spent almost 2 or 3 years before I got certified and taught over 100 and almost 200 people, okay? Because everybody is different. There's no one size fits all, alright? Everybody has different injuries. Everybody has different compensations, okay? And I also have been spending 3 years in NASM, corrective exercise therapy. So I have a good understanding of Western anatomical terms and Eastern, okay? And what I've decided to do is combine both, alright? So, as far as your specific issue with your lower back, speaking of the physical and the internal, okay, anything that goes on with the lower back usually has to do something with kidney function, okay? And as far as the kidney function is concerned, right, there you have emotions tied to internal functions, okay? And there is a yin and yang, right? A positive and a negative, a happy or a good or bad, okay? A good expression of the kidney energy, right, is gentleness, right? Being able to move and be relaxed and all of that. The opposite of that is fear, okay? Being frozen, stiff, being afraid to move, right? So usually when people have a tight lower back, for example, right? And say if you are afraid of something, right? You know how they say, oh, the dog sticks his tail between its legs, right? Right? And you feel that, you can feel that in your lower back as well, right? Your root, being afraid to move, the fight or flight response, okay? Now, as far as the lower back goes, right, we are not going to directly target the lower back in the Qigong movements. Every Qigong movement, I don't want to say attacks, but gives therapy to the whole body in general. Even though primarily it is for a certain part of the body. So with that in mind, rather than give you a whole form, right, and to adjust because you said you can't really bend over, right, but you can still lift your arms up, we are going to train and focus and make precise 2 movements that will help out with your lower back while draining and bringing in balance of your kidneys. Alright, so let's begin. Very simply, the first thing I want you to do, you have to learn how to relax, okay? There's no point of doing any of these movements if you don't know how to calm down. And the best way to calm down emotionally and physically is through the breath with coordination. So let's begin. Start with your right hand on top of your left. Close your eyes and put your mind in your hands. And just breathe deep for a second. When you feel like you've calmed down, come up. Push down and breathe out. Then breathe in. You can do that 2 more times. Now, as you do this, I want you to relax your legs and your sitting bones. Breathe out. Relax your legs and sitting bones, as well as your upper body, and breathe in. One more time. Relax your upper and your lower body. Now you don't have to bring your hands all the way up. You can just bring them right here. Push down, breathe out. Then breathe in. Right hand on top of the left. Okay. Now that you've calmed down, let's begin. Hands up, relaxing the upper and the lower body, specifically your sitting bones and your legs and your knees. If I had to pick 2 spots on your lower body, I would like you to relax your sitting bones and your knees. Okay. Good. Right hand on top of the left, right below your belly button. Let's begin. The first move I want you to do, and it's very simple. You see my shoulders, and you see my hips. Right shoulder, right hip. Relax your upper and your lower body, sitting bones, and your knees. Take your upper half of your body. Turn towards the right hip. Now, your shoulder is past your hip. Relax, look, and drop it. Breathe in. Bring your shoulder up, right back to the middle. Okay. Good. Now, here's your left shoulder and your left hip. Take your upper half of your body, take your left shoulder, turn it past the hip. Now, drop the shoulder behind the hip. Not a big, hard crunch, just nice and easy. Take your time and bring it back to center. Okay, you should feel good already. Now, after you do that a few times, you can add the ball. Here's my left, and here's my right shoulder. Take the upper half of your body, turn your right shoulder past your left hip. Wait, oh sorry, let's go the opposite way. Sorry. Take your left shoulder behind your left hip. Now you see this ball, I'll give you a side view. You're going to take your top hand and flip it with the bottom hand and drop your shoulder behind your hip. Good. Now take your shoulder up. See this top hand? Bring it back on top towards the center. Okay, now let's go the opposite way. Right hand. Here's my right shoulder. Turn. Flip and crunch. Breathe in. Take your shoulder that's behind your hip. Bring it back. See this hand? Put it on top. Breathe out. When you fully extend, I want you to breathe in. After you get done, breathe out. Okay? Now, here's my left hand. Here's my left shoulder. Turn the shoulder past the hip. Upper half of the body, not the hips. Keep the hips forward. Drop it. The shoulder is behind the hip. Take up the shoulder and bring it back. Next one. Bring the shoulder right back in alignment. Right. Now, here's the last movement. It is very similar to the first one. We were standing still. This time, we're going to add a little stance. So, if you can do this, just a little bit, here's your shoulder width, go a little bit, one step beyond that. And if you can open up more. Now, we're going to do the same movement, but with a bow stance. The bow stance is pretty easy. If you can, try to put 70-30, 70% here, 30% here. In this stance, this gives a chance for your hips to open up and allow your lower back to relax and drop. And here's how it looks, right? Without the hands. You're going to stand straight, relaxing the lower body, sitting bones, knees relaxed, and you're just going to turn to the side. Here. Then bend the front leg and straighten the back. Now, what's important is I turn my feet with my stance. Okay? Don't keep your feet forward and then drop it, right? Turn your feet with the stance. Okay, see? Very easy. Now, for the movement, take your left hand and put it on top. Okay. We're going to go towards the left. And flip it. Come back. Now my right hand is on top. We're going to turn to the right. When you turn, you're going to flip. Very simple. You can crunch that shoulder a little bit. See here, the top one. Turn. Make sure you turn the feet. Keep the lower and the upper body relaxed. Okay, this should lengthen everything. And the great thing about opening tight muscles and tendons this way, rather than being on the ground or with some equipment, your body is meant to move. Okay? There's not gonna be a whole lot of times throughout your day where you're gonna be on the ground. You know what I mean? You have to learn how to relax your body and parts of your body that's too tight with functional movement. Okay? So, again, here. Good. Breathe out. Breathe in. Okay. So, ideally, I would like for you to practice this 3 times a day. Once in the morning, afternoon, and before you go to sleep. Okay? You could do about multiples of 4. Start with 4, then move to 8, and then that'll be enough, right? So 4 each side, right? 4 each side. Okay? Alright. And then after you have got a taste of being able to relax with functional movement, okay, then we can give you more of a prescribed program specifically for you. Alright? Let me know how it goes.